if you live in a world where certain people are the image makers and certain people are the norm, whether it's people of a certain class or a country, race, or a gender, and others are simply background details from whom we never hear anything, who are not seen as creative, active participants in our planet, then it's much easier, I would say, to mobilize people to go and wage a war against those kind of no-name nobodies than it would be if we actually thought about Iraq as Persia, as a history of, the history of the Western civilization, of the, if we knew something about the history of Baghdad as an artistic center, or the history of Beirut as the Paris of the Middle East, we might feel differently about supporting regimes that destroy those countries or attack those countries, or about sending our own people to go and fight those people if we knew their names.
It's time for the Launching Chronoscope.
145 companies were approached by a top fundraising firm that we retained to get support for our show. We have a very credible anchor person in Charlene Hunter Gold who thought we could get corporate support. 145 companies were approached, and 145 companies turned us down. We asked why. They said, look, nothing personal, but we don't want to be associated with a high-profile human rights television series, even if you are objective. That could hurt our image overseas. Well, companies are seeking low-cost labor, and because they're making mega profits.
We all fall into it. It's very difficult not to buy goods that are produced in China or in areas of the third world like Guatemala, Bolivia.
I'd like to send a message to the American people. If they send these clothes to be made in Haiti, if the Americans can't give a living wage to us, to the Haitian workers, they shouldn't wear the clothes we have made for them in Haiti. That would be better for us.
It's certainly the case that the world has been greatly shrunken by advances in communications and technology. But whether we're going towards a village or a market is, I think, very much under contest now. And there are two alternative and fairly antagonistic viewpoints on that thing. The idea of a village with its sense of family and extended family and community is pretty antithetical to the notion of this kind of ruthless global market where employment and economic opportunity, goes from one country to the next seeking the lowest possible wage and the most oppressed workforce to take advantage of, to the disadvantage of all concerned.
Goal is to create a free market. Now that's not a conspiracy theory. They're coming out now much more honestly saying it. 15 years ago they wouldn't say that. They'd say it's the Cold War, the struggle against Soviet imperialism, it's to safeguard democracy. Now they're coming out and saying what this is really about. It's we want free market economies in these countries. And it's not democracy. If they're going to choose between democracy without the free market or the free market without democracy, they'll take the second. I'll give you an example. Mikhail Gorbachev gave them democracy. In 1987, he put in all sorts of democratic reforms, a new democratically elected Soviet parliament, opened up the media to diverse viewpoints, and the U.S. was saying, this isn't enough. You haven't done the real reforms. The real reforms was free market, which is dismantle your social system and let private capital come in there.